Hello and welcome to the Gaia update for the Aries full moon that's happening on Thursday, October 5th at 12:40 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I'm Adrienne Elise. Well, this full moon in Aries is a blast of fire energy reminding us of the eclipse energy, all the Leo energy, trining energy of trining up with the fire energy. Saturn in Sagittarius is trining up with the North Node right now. So we're having this burst of fire, a burst of creative energy, an opportunity to get some clarity on what it is we've been going through. Now, a lot of people have been feeling pretty heavy, moving through a lot of energies in this last month and a half, 2 months, 5 years. We have been having a really intense situation with ongoing mystical rectangles being created in the sky, and we have another one on this full moon. But this time, the mystical rectangle is in the axis of Aries and Libra, and with the sun and the moon. So the sun and the moon are not together for too long because the moon moves so fast. But it's like a glimpse of possibility that's being shown to us. And even with all of the tumultuous changing that's going on in our life right now, we are having a lot of harmonious aspects. So that Saturn trining the North Node is where we're heading, and Saturn is our like work, duty, make it happen, let's see it, let's see the money, let's see it manifested in the 3D reality. So there is a little bit of magic here around moving into the new. If you can kind of really use this full moon in Aries as a way to cement in your inner journey, your claiming of the fire within. It's a lot about the eclipse and the North Node, and Leo is like, I am going to live and be happy and shine my light and love and open my heart and claim back the truth of what it means to be human. And then we kind of had this kind of rehash of the Piscean age and kind of the energy of the last nodal axis that was in Virgo and Pisces, as we still have all of these planets in Virgo. So as much as we have this fiery kind of energy harmonizing, we have a powerful earth energy going on as well, still opposing the Pisces energy. So we're still feeling Mercury and Mars opposing Chiron this week leading up to this eclipse. And so with Mercury and Venus and Mars, all of our personal planets in Virgo, we're really still feeling a lot of the Virgo energy, and Virgo wants to clean stuff up, and Chiron has been massively activated. So all of these planets, the sun and the moon a couple times, and Venus, Mercury, and Mars are all sojourning over this powerful territory that is opposing Neptune, opposing Chiron, and after which it had already gone over the nodal axis as well as that eclipse point. So we are just having a massive activation, our personal bring it home to our real life, real world experience of what's been happening in the backdrop. Now this is really interesting because we've had this frantic kind of one aspect of after another with these personal planets triggering the larger planets, triggering this bigger story of what's going on. But our big planets our transpersonal planets have all been retrograde, and that's a real big shift of energy because on Thursday before this full moon, Pluto is going direct, and so Pluto is so slow moving, and it's just hanging out at 16 degrees there in Capricorn, just kind of hanging out. And this is really significant because it's been in Capricorn for quite a while. We're having this Pluto in Capricorn. Capricorn's our authority, our structures, our belief systems of like tradition, how we've done things, and the structures of our world. And of course, Pluto wants to break stuff down and see what's underneath and open up the truth and the shadows. And so it's a powerful time, but we're, now that Pluto's going direct at 16 degrees, we're in the second part of Capricorn. So it's time for us to start really learning the lessons of Capricorn, like the breakdown. Can we let the breakdown happen so that we can start to build the new? And that's really what about the next few years of astrology is about. It's about really building a new world, and we're doing this each individually right now, and that can mean a breakdown. So a lot of people right now are definitely having some tension, you know, in their life around what's working, what's not working, where am I going, where am I headed. It's a very confusing time with all this Pisces energy going on, and Pisces is the delusion, the dreams, the collective consciousness, the one unity vibration, which in the past Piscean age was used to control us and keep us as prisoners. And so we are kind of, and Uranus is so activated right now. This is so powerful because on the day that Pluto turns direct, which Pluto is a powerful planet, it's the planet of power, and turning direct, it's like we really feel it, even though it goes really slow. So it takes about a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's at this 1 degree, just kind of hanging out, and it's not till later in October that it actually moves into the next degree of Pisces, or I mean of Capricorn. And so it's just kind of hanging out there in this really uncomfortable thing. But what's really going on, since our transpersonal planets, the planets of our invisible world, Uranus, Pluto, and Neptune, have all been retrograde, Pluto going direct is kind of like a scene change. It's bringing in a whole new reality that's been going on behind the scenes. And so it's time for our life to adjust to that. And for some people, that's empowerment, that's forward motion. It's like, oh, I finally get to go. For some people, it's like, whoa, I have been in delusion about this. I've had a belief system around this that's kept me in this unhealthy pattern, that's keeping me from actually really living my life, doing what I really feel like I'm here to do. And now I need to move forward by releasing the past. So it's really intense because Jupiter has, it's in its exact opposition to Uranus for this full moon and also the week leading up. And that happens on the day that Pluto turns direct. And so we have Pluto in the sign of structures, breaking down the structures of our lives. And we have Jupiter exactly opposite Uranus. Now, Jupiter is in Libra, the end degrees of Libra. It's about mastery of this Libran energy. This is getting along with each other, partnerships, making it work for everyone, diplomacy. And but Pluto going direct is our structures of our life, including relationships, are up for review right now. And that's really being challenged because the exact opposition with Uranus is about freedom. And Aries, it's about the new revolution of personal individual freedom. It's about our own personal spiritual awakening path. And then we've got Jupiter and Libra kind of being like, well, you know, relationships, and we want to make it work, and we want to make it good for everyone. We want to try to harmonize and maybe, you know, enable a little bit. And this is the end of this now, because Jupiter on the 10th of October goes into Scorpio, a very different energy, where we're going into the shadow, we're going down into the depths. We're going to go and we're going to get, there can be great deepening in relationships, but you can't go deeper if you have a lot of stuff that's being suppressed or not dealt with. And so that stuff's coming up. And so it's a really potent energy, just as Jupiter is beginning to get ready to move into the sign of Scorpio, having this exact opposition with Uranus and Aries. And it's like Uranus is at the end degrees of Aries. So it's like our revolution within, our new identity within is happening. It's happening. It's time to move into the building of it. When Uranus moves into Taurus, it's going to be about building. And Saturn is going to be moving in to Capricorn. And that's at home in Capricorn as an earth sign and building the new. So you have to understand that's what's going on right now in your life is, again, a rehash, a blooming, and a lot of this has to do with our inner woundedness because of those Chiron aspects. And we have that mystical rectangle going on twice in a row with Mercury and Venus and Mars all opposing Neptune and Chiron. Now we have that going on in the for this full moon, because the moon and the sun are opposite each other in that Aries Libra axis. And then we also have this axis of Libra and Aries being activated through Jupiter and Uranus. Okay, so it's like a little mini another mystical rectangle, and this is like a portal. It's kind of like timelines coming together, and you can jump timelines, move through the portal, and drop a whole bunch of bullshit stories that have been keeping you down. So that's what's going on. You're being shown Mercury is opposing Chiron. You're being shown the delusions of the belief systems around being wounded that have been holding you back. Your victim mentality. It's coming up so that you can move beyond it entirely. And so we're really feeling an opportunity here. There's some powerful, supportive energy with that North Node trining Saturn in Sagittarius, and kind of like, yeah, it's time to make it real, you guys. Like, your light within is why you're here, and stop messing around and make it happen. Now, this is also really harmonized by Pallas Athene. We talked about Jupiter and Libra at the end degrees. It's about mastering the Libra energy of harmony and diplomacy. And Pallas Athene is in a grand trine with Pluto and Venus. So as Pluto goes direct, there's this, so Pluto is the destroyer. Pluto's like this rule Scorpio. It just wants to like just kind of explode and move away the rubble and just kind of like rebirth and renew. And so the fact that there's a grand fire trine with Pallas Athene in Taurus is really beautiful, because we're having a whole bunch of harmonized energy around Pluto. It's like, yeah, Pluto the destroyer is going direct, you know, on the day that Uranus is opposite Jupiter, and oh my God. But at the same time, it's so harmonized, you know, and it's like, yeah, we're building the new. You know, this is a thing, a big message is coming through right now about everything that's happening on the planet. It's like a lot of people are feeling really intense. And to know it's just like, we are moving through. Like, this is not where we're staying. We're moving through. This is a stage that we're in because we're moving through to something else. So just keep that going on, because there is such intensity right now. But part of the deal is that there is a lot of astrology happening. More and more since 2012, we have had a lot more aspects happening all the time. And right now, last part of 2017, moving into 2018, 19, and 20, it just keeps getting more and more accelerated as far as like powerful messages from the planets. When the planets are in, if they each are representing a voice in the cosmos, then these voices are speaking a lot, and there's a lot of deliberation going on. And so it's incredibly fascinating. This is why I got into astrology, because I realized that the planets and stars are speaking to us, and by paying attention, we can harmonize our journey. And that's the beautiful thing about this Aries full moon. It's like we can like kind of catch that creative spark again and remember about what really matters in our path. And that's especially helped along just before, 2 days before this full moon, Venus trines up with Pluto there with that Earth trine. And so Venus and Mars are coming together, the male and the female. This is a whole nother part of what's going on. We've had this male-female dance going on between Venus and Mars, and they're coming together for a conjunction, very powerful, and it's happening right after this full moon. And so they're both have been triggering all these planets. Now, Venus and Mars are right in between the opposition to Neptune and not yet to Chiron. So at this full moon, they've had their opposition to Neptune, but they haven't yet had their opposition to Chiron. They're sitting in this kind of yod-like energy, this arrow, you know, at this full moon, saying, hey, you guys, the woundedness is about us being the illusion of separation. This is represented in our reality because we're manifested in a 3D reality. And this 3D reality, we have to be we have to choose a sex. We have to be a male or a female body. And so we have this continual illusion delusion going on that we're not whole and complete within ourselves. Now, we all have masculine and feminine within us. And the goal of the hero within is to become whole and complete in yourself. And so there's some powerful energy going on with this, because there's the asteroid Psyche is very close to the sun during this full moon. Psyche represents it's kind of like Chiron and Scorpio mix. It's like the shadow and the wound. And so it's kind of like the most vulnerable place in all of us, where around getting our basic but emotional, spiritual soul needs met. And so the sun coming up illuminates whatever it comes into contact with. And so there's just this kind of fragility that can come up around this full moon, and a feeling of vulnerability. But part of the deal with this Aries full moon, Aries is very empowered. And so it's kind of like understanding that our human vulnerability is what is our greatest strength. And that's what we are. You know, we're humans on a journey. We have emotion, this huge emotional spectrum. We get to be consciousness manifested in the body and go through the illusion of separation in order to come back to that oneness. So this Aries full moon is going to be an awesome time to tap into that oneness with all this Pisces energy, but with the spark of creation, the true kind of essence of your own soul that wants to be ignited with this fire trine that's going on between the fire signs and an earth trine. So we are bringing the transformation to planet Earth, and both of these trining up energies are really going to help us as we have this mystical rectangle energy going on. It's really potent. Again, just like the last new moon, not a lot of square energy. We do have Saturn square Chiron, not close, but you know, this is what's being triggered as these planets, as Venus and Mars, they're each squaring Saturn. So that's the square going on around the male and the female parts of ourselves in the delusion of separation, and squaring up with Saturn around our work is in becoming whole and complete. Our work is balancing the male and the female within us, and being able to breathe and think with our heart, you know, at the unity consciousness, and get out of the mind, the psychological mind, which is a duality consciousness, and move into oneness consciousness. So really potent energy in the sky right now. As much as there's like so much happening, there's also a ton of support. So I hope you can join me for the live activation. That's going to be Wednesday, October 4th at 12 noon Mountain Standard Time. And we'll go on, we'll tap into this full moon in Aries energy and make the most of this fire and earth transformational time as we bring our light a little more to planet Earth. So I hope you'll join me for that live activation. If you can't make the live activation, sign up. You can get instant access to the replay, and the energy is encoded in there. And if you have the intention to come, if you're signing up, I can answer your direct questions intuitively, and you can feel that feeling of it being more directed to the words you need to hear. And so I look forward to seeing you on the activation. And hey, I'm here available for support if you're looking for guidance, an intuitive healing session, and check that out at adrienneelise.com. So thanks so much for joining me. Until next time, namaste.